Welcome to another Optimity webinar, where we are exploring exciting topics in health innovation, cutting-edge technologies, and living well. You are joined by hundreds of people like yourself who are interested in learning more about mental health. So there's a quote that I really like by Shannon L. Hildar, which is, "Never give up on someone with a mental illness. When I is replaced by we, illness becomes wellness." This is why what we do here at Optimity is so important. We focus on providing the resources and support to help individuals optimize their overall health, leading to a more healthier and productive life. With Optimity, you're never alone. We provide you with the resources you need to get there. In May is Mental Health Month, so we want to spread awareness about the importance of mental health, especially for modern professionals in the workplace. Since according to the Conference Board of Canada, there is an estimate of 1.3 million Canadian workers who suffer from mental health conditions related to anxiety and depression. That's one too many people. Like most chronic illnesses, there's much that can be done to prevent mental health. And I'm your host, Tasneem, welcoming you to this community webinar on the important topic of mental health. Today, we will talk about the importance of addressing mental health issues in the workplace. Here with me to chat about this topic is our CEO, Jane Wang. A little bit of background about us and our professional experiences. Jane spent almost a decade in health management with patients from clinical research. Her expertise are in adherence, helping patients prevent adverse events, and daily micro-interactions. And I'm Tasneem. I'm a wellness advisor at Optimity, creating content for specialized topics for our clients to address chronic health issues. My background is in health policy, and I'm passionate about health equity. My dream is to eliminate social and economic barriers that restrict someone from getting access to the right information and care to obtain their optimal health. As the hundreds of guests arrive, I want to take a moment to go over some housekeeping items to give you the best webinar experience. Please connect to audio using your computer's microphone and speaker, or select Use Telephone after joining the webinar to turn on sound. All guest lines are muted to avoid background noise. Type in your questions in the tool and we'll answer the question during the QA period or after the webinar. After the webinar, the slides and recording will be sent out to you to share with others. There are three handouts from this session: a mindfulness exercise worksheet that you can use to practice some mindfulness exercises, maybe during your break at work or afterwards, a document about supporting employees in the workplace from the Canadian Mental Health Commission of Canada, and a study from the Deloitte. They are downloadable in the tools section. At Optimity, we provide a dynamic wellness tool to engage people like yourself in achieving optimal health. In fact, Optimity means the state of being best. We provide a mobile app. It's personalized to you, your job function, your gender, and your own health goals. We support you with a robust and holistic health content library spanning everything from physical exercise, nutrition, financial wellness, and mental health. And in this case, mental health. We also recommend activities to you based on other people like yourself, so someone with a similar job, a similar personality, and similar goals. You can access the Pocket Coach via any mobile device or via our website. It is a pocket health coach that syncs with your calendar. It gives you small, fun challenges which earn you improvements in health and awareness, and also gets you points for rewards, and of course, a lot of bragging rights. The reason we provide webinars is because we want to help address some key health issues in proactive health coaching, such as low participation, poor adherence, and no adaptation of the program based on the person you are. We provide a fully integrated health coaching solution that turns raw data into insights and helpful daily tips. And we have achieved over 77% participation in 2016 and 2017. Our weekly adherence rate is averaged at 43%, which means people are able to use the technology consistently and change their lives and habits bit by bit, every day, every week, leading to better health. We adapt the program to popular topics and your interests on the go. So today, we will be sharing our knowledge and giving you useful tips on managing mental health that you can take back with you to your organization and use yourself, even if you don't yet have Optimity. May was Mental Health Month. What were your initiatives for this month? Let's do a poll. So, so the question was, for May 2018, what did you do for mental health awareness campaign? And as a result, 55% of you said that you did nothing this year. And 28% said we referred materials and resources through emails or digital. 14% said we ran a campaign with employee initiatives that were interactive. 17% said we had a lunch and learn, which were fairs and in-person events. And 3% said we provide webinars, which are educational videos recorded in sessions. Hopefully the 55% that did nothing this year will take back some helpful information that they can implement next year or during their next mental health campaign. This year, we helped clients do a variety of all of the initiatives. So today, we are here to share some highlights and help you do even better next year. So, of course, if you have questions during the webinar, you can put them into the QA panel or email our team at engage@myoptimity.com or me directly at tasneem@myoptimity.com. Let's get started. On today's agenda, we will talk about what is mental health, why is mental health a workplace concern, top 3 ways to create a healthier mental health workplace, and how technology can help prevent and maintain a positive mental health. So Jane, let's share some insights on mental health and why it's so important for employers to address.
Yes, mental health has been one of the fastest growing pain points in our client population. So for workplace health promotion this year, we saw more organizations getting more tuned into the importance and consistently making adjustments to both their thinking and also execution on supporting their employees. And as the poll has just shown here too, a lot of you are here also researching on what you could do or potentially do for wellness, and hopefully we are going to support you in understanding and also executing on it next year or even later on this year. So first, let's start with some definitions. Mental health and mental illness are increasingly being used interchangeably, but they are not the same thing, right? So let's get the definition right. Everyone has mental health, not everyone has a mental illness. So mental health is just, as according to the World Health Organization famously said, there is no health without mental health. So of course, in a lifetime, not all people will experience a mental illness, but everyone. Okay, absolutely everyone will struggle or have a challenge with their mental well-being, because just like we all have challenges with our physical well-being from time to time. When we talk about mental health, we're really talking about our mental well-being, which includes our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, our ability to solve problems and overcome difficulties, our social connections, and really our understanding of the world around us and the relationship we have with the world around us. So a mental health issue becomes mental illness sometimes, and it's an illness that affects the way people think and feel and behave and interact with others that is not congruent with normal behavior. And this is part, as there's different types of mental illness, and they have different symptoms and impact people in very different ways. So just as someone may feel unwell, you actually doesn't necessarily will be classified medically as mental illness. People who have poor mental health without, you can have really poor mental health without having a mental illness. We all have days where we just feel a bit down, stressed out, overwhelmed by something that's happening to our lives. And that's what a lot of the practice that we have for supporting mental health is actually is to help people maintain good mental ability to think and look at problems and concerns realistically. It's a concept called mental resilience. Okay, so good mental health isn't really feeling about happy and confident 100% of the time and ignoring the problem. It's actually all about living and coping despite the problems. And it's possible to have a episode of poor mental health without having mental illness. So with the right support and tools, everyone can live well. So how we can define mental health is actually really important in our approach to dealing with it. So we're going to kind of classify everything a little bit more detail today. So I'm going to go through some stories so that we can really put that into context. So the first one is really kind of meeting Smith. So Smith came into work this morning. He had a broken arm and he had broken over the weekend. It's really evident. There's a cast on his arm, right? So he has sought medical help. And since his limitations is quite visible, obviously, and it's, there's clear needs to help him accommodate to that. So the medical attention that Smith sought in conjunction with the accommodations made for him at work, he was able to have a really healthy recovery and his cast comes off in a few weeks. Great. But let's meet Smith's co-worker, Sarah, and she is also suffering, but this time the poor health issue that she's suffering is actually depression. And in that she's a little quiet. So what are the signs there? Are the signs just as clear? Can we tell that Sarah is working just a bit slower than her usual pace because she's suffering from depression? Would you know, right? Would you even be able to identify where her depression started, or if Sarah has even sought out for any medical help or support? Do you know the limitations that she may have to what support that she needs in her progress to recovery? Right, that's something to really kind of think about. And unfortunately not, and this is because mental health is often seen as an invisible health issue because it's not as easy to spot as we did with Smith's cast. As a result, people like Sarah who suffer from this is a pretty serious mental health problem will get overlooked. And as an employer, it's time to kind of step up and play an important role in providing the right tools and resources. But as just a great human being to your coworkers, it's just good to be mindful and to be educated about the different activities here. So let's go through some of that. Let's start with recognition. So recognition of a mental health problem in the workplace will help you learn how to intervene. A mental illness rarely appear out of the blue. So that's an important thing to think about. So family, friends, coworkers often actually begin to see changes in an individual's behavior over time. So if you notice some of the warning signs, it may be time to kind of discuss your concern with that particular coworker or an employee or friend of yours. So some of these symptoms that we see, I'm just going to list out some of the important ones, is decline in work performance. Has the employee really developed a habit of showing up late? Are they missing deadlines? The quality of work declined. Increased absenteeism, that's something that we see statistically. Has there been a change in the attendance records of that particular person? Additional sick days or personal days is usually noted. Mood changes. Have you seen a rapid or dramatic shift in the person's personality, mood, attitude? Are they happy at work one day, but then lethargic and disconnected the other? And it's not just one time. This is when you keep on seeing that repeated behavior. Nervousness and irritability. When the employee seems to be uncomfortable and anxious, do they appear nervous and respond disproportionately to constructive criticism or performance feedback? Relationship problems with coworkers. So is the employee suddenly at odds with other workers? Have you observed increased arguments or snappy remarks between the employee and the other colleagues? And then the last one is withdrawal. Does the employee seem quiet and unengaged at work? Have you seen reduced productivity or participation in any sort of team activity or discussions? So those are all interesting things to think about. So when we keep an eye out for the different signs, it also makes it easier for us to be aware organizationally to mental health being a workplace concern. And most companies are aware of the fact that a healthy, positive work environment increases productivity and, of course, results in a gain in business outcomes. But as a whole, mental health actually has a significant impact in loss of disability, medical costs. The number of, is quite staggering. So by the Mental Health Commission, the mental health issues is costing employers an estimated $50 billion a year. And that's a dramatically big number. And these are very recent studies, and it's very forward looking. And, 500,000 workers out there are missing work every day because of mental health each week. So this is, one of the 3 highest causes of workplace disability claims in North America. And this is a rising issue because despite the increase in the mental health awareness and the popular movements such as the Bell Let's Talk movement, many people are still suffering in silence at the workplace. And for the employer, it's really, you start to contextualize some of these numbers and potential impact that it could have on your business. And then you can, start to kind of raise the red flag for mental health. And I think more people, the reason we talk about it too, I mean, it's not always the happiest thing to talk about, but it's really necessary because so many people are suffering out there. So I'm going to take a quick poll here because people misunderstand some of the numbers, and we just want to kind of understand here, do you know someone who could get your support and who has been suffering from that? So we're going to launch that poll. Perfect. So when you look at the results here, right? This matches, exactly what we see statistically too. It's a really huge part, and this is why we're all here. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to get educated on it and to be, getting prepared to help somebody out, because I think it's something that we're doing wonderful as a society for. Perfect. So in the mental health part, we want to share a case study. So this is one of the downloadable materials in the provided PDFs that Taz has shared. So it's a study by Deloitte, and it identifies a number of actions as an employer or an employee or key stakeholders can take today in society. So for an employer, it's important to kind of raise priority given to mental health and well-being towards, giving it some time and allotment. And we're seeing that in May, as it was Mental Health Month, a lot of our clients have launched all 4. So really kind of attacking it multidimensionally, from everything from actual interactive initiatives to sending out stuff within their newsletters, providing resources, some education on this. It's important to take stock and monitor the performance. So we talked about this earlier in kind of some of our stress management techniques that we shared on the employee level, but we have also questionnaires. Just as you have a health risk assessment, there's now stress risk assessment, so you can actually take specific understanding of quantifiably and understand the momentum that you need to, and to get the buy-in that you need to include mental health as part of your wellness program. This really allows organizations to implement relevant initiatives to identify whether or not mental health is a key issue for your population, and to promote success within other lines of in terms of business metrics. So for employees, and all of us are employees somewhere, it's also important to become actively engaged in your own health and well-being and participate in strategies that promote both mental and physical well-being. So this includes employee involvement in workplace programs and being advocates, being champions, and addressing the stigma, right? There's still a lot of stigma through sharing personal stories and how it affects. So as you guys saw, 91% of you had know someone or have a story. So sometimes sharing that will really kind of take away the taboo, and it is the people that don't talk about it that often this will have the biggest impact on. So thank you, and continue doing that. And then the last part is about policymakers. So those of us who are fortunate enough to have a kind of a wider impact on policies, focusing on, aligning incentives to encourage companies to take charge of mental health and promote healthy actions, improve well-being. So kudos to you guys out there as well. The link between mental health and physical health is often misunderstood. It's often thought as separate entities, but the two go hand in hand. In fact, again, the World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And longevity studies have shown that happy people live longer, and in fact more connected people. And so the more social you are, you'll also live longer. So the perceived disconnect between mind and body creates actually a misconception in mental illness. Is not a physical disease. Actually, mental illness is very much a physical disease. In reality, the mental health impact on your physical health, it starts hormonally. You secrete different things under stress or when you're unhappy, and these hormones have effects on your nervous system, and then it has effect on your autonomic responses within your brainstem, right? All these like all of these reptilian brain things, it changes things for you and how you process information. And this is especially apparent when you hit some of the high level brain functions in your cerebellum and things like that. So these are many links that's now connected by studies with behavioral scientists or basic scientists alike. So many of us are not aware of how uncommon mental illness is and how physical the impacts are. So 1 in 5 adults have mental illness in any given year, and mental illness is more than just being depressed. It actually covers a wider range of problems. So we talked about depression already. It also comes with anxiety disorders. It comes with schizophrenia. Eating disorders is actually classified within here as well. Bipolar depression and addictive behaviors. So connecting the mind and body, you may be wondering, exactly how does, my mental health affect my physical health? Well, it actually has implications and very interesting correlations with diseases such as heart disease, high blood pressure, weakened immune system. You get more sick when you're sad. Asthma, obesity, gastronomic problems, you don't digest as well, you're more likely to have stomach issues, and then premature death. And this is not, this is kind of separating that from suicide. This is actually talking about longevity again. So depression alone can cause, chronic fatigue, insomnia, increased sensitivity to aches and pains due to abnormal functions in your neurotransmitters. So your brain, the whole system is really detecting pain in a very physiologically different way. So before we kind of getting into our top 3 ways of creating healthy mental health, well, let's start, off by kind of relaxing. So I think relaxation is a really good practice for people who are just experiencing a normal episode of mental stress. So your mental health is being challenged a little bit by all these external stimuli, be it a upcoming deadline or something that is that you cannot avoid, right? So relaxation, let's start with the definition, is a state where you can feel calm and able to manage your day-to-day life. And if you have a busy life, this can be difficult. So relaxation, it's a practice that's both mental and physical, right? Because it's going to calm down a lot of the physical symptoms and inflammation that you have, and the techniques can be practiced almost anywhere. So in this case, I think we should talk a little bit about what some of the techniques that could be used to reduce stress and the symptoms of mental health, like depression, anxiety, and schizophrenia. So relaxation is related to other health benefits such as lowering your heart rate, blood pressure, muscle tension, fatigue, reducing anger and frustration, and boosting confidence in your ability to handle the problems. Okay. My top 5 techniques for relaxation are this is also statistical. So the first part is about visualization. So can you create a mental image of a calming place for you? Can you create a visualization of you successfully conquering that fear. And that's actually a really important part of mastery, because fear itself is actually just a concept. It's a physiological response to something that's happening, but oftentimes it's not quite physical, it's all mental. Deep breathing is number 2. Changing the way that you're controlling how air flows in is a long time technique where you can refocus your attention on something very physiological, such as your breathing, and it takes your brain out of its hyper state. So deep breathing, even for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, can have huge effects in your resilience. The third one is daily practice of meditation, and this is best done either at the beginning of the day, where it kind of starts you off on a really smart, a soft, calm, receptive place, or it's best done after something stressful has happened to you, where you can return you into that state of best well-being. So, I mean, there's tons of meditation out there. We have lots of content on that. I really believe in it, because the days where I meditate is where I have the best days. So visualize, meditation, my favorites. The fourth one is mindfulness, and this can be also related to gratitude, actually. So mindfulness is something where your mind is actually being cognizant about the relationship that you have with the physical world, what's happening, how people are reacting with you. It kind of takes us out of our very first person perspective and kind of having a third person out of body, like looking at the situation more objectively and understanding the kind of the relationship by taking the subjectivity out of it. So being mindful of all the great things that you receive, being mindful of how other people are reacting perhaps to their own day versus you, is a really good practice in relaxation. And then the last part is actual physical exercise. So physical exercise helps your body kind of react to that fast heartbeat and allow you to really kind of have the physical muscles to be able to respond to a stressor and be able to calm down quickly from that too. So, find a relaxation technique that works for you, make it part of your daily routine, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes a day. I think it's really going to be beneficial for everyone involved. So Taz, I know we're going to share a lot more resources today, and to start, what is one of your go-to relaxation techniques?
I actually really like meditation, so I included a handout that's downloadable in this section, so you can give it a little look. I also I like having a stressful day and just taking a few minutes to internalize my body, maybe just my breathing, and just seeing how I feel, and to bring me back to reality. So taking those few minutes just to think about yourself actually does wonders. So one of our top ways of preventing or promoting mental health, either in the workplace or in your daily life, is positive thinking. So we always find ourselves coping with troubles, thoughts from time to time, especially when we're going through changes in our lives and we feel depressed or anxious and sad. Sometimes we might get angry or stressed out. And it's best to make it a positive thinking. I know it's hard sometimes, but you can do it. It's what is healthy thinking? Healthy thinking does not mean positive thinking all the time. So you can't always look at things positively all the time. Sometimes bad things happen, like getting maybe, into an accident, or maybe even getting fired at work, having an argument with a friend, or losing someone you love. It's normal and healthy to be upset and negative thoughts when these things happen. But healthy thinking means looking at this entire situation in a positive way. I know this might sound weird. How do I think about getting fired as a positive thing? Well, the negative parts are neutral. So when coming to a conclusion, in other words, healthy thinking means looking at life and the world in a balanced way, not through the rose-colored glasses that it is. We're not thinking about it as a positive thing. We're just thinking about it as a process. So did you know that your thoughts have a big influence on your mental health? That's because what you tell yourself about a situation affects how you feel and what you do. Sometimes your interpretation of a situation can get distorted and you only focus on the negative aspects. This is normal and expected. However, when you interpret situations too negatively, you might feel even worse, or you're also more likely to respond to the situation in ways that are unhelpful in the long term. Fortunately, there are specific coping strategies that help manage difficult thoughts. So what are common thinking traps? So everyone falls into unbalanced thinking traps from time to time. You're almost likely to distort your interpretations of things when you feel sad or angry or anxious or depressed or even stressed out. You're also more vulnerable to thinking traps when you're not taking good care of yourself, like when you're not eating or sleeping well. So if you see that and recognize your own thinking traps, you'll be able to like think more happily. So some of the thinking traps are the most common thinking traps are like over exaggerating or over generalizing, sorry. Thinking that a negative situation is part of a constant cycle of bad things that's about to happen. So people who overgeneralize often use a word like always or never, like I'm always getting this wrong, or I'm never on time, or nothing good like ever happens to me. So like I want to go to the beach right now, but now it's raining. If you're living in Toronto, it's probably raining. This always happens to me. I never get to do fun things. So that's like overgeneralizing your thoughts. Black and white thinking, seeing things are as only right or wrong. So good or bad, perfect or terrible. People who think in black and white terms see a small mistake as a total failure. So an example is, I wanted to eat healthier, but I just had a piece of cake. This plan is a total failure. I might as well eat the whole cake now. Another one is fortune telling, predicting that something bad will happen without any evidence. So I've been studying hard, but I know that I'm going to fail my last test tomorrow. That's fortune telling, but in a negative way. You're already, setting yourself up for failure. Another one, and the last one that we'll go through because there's a huge list of them, is emotional reasoning, believing that bad things and bad feelings and emotions reflect the situation. So an example is, I feel anxious when I fly, so airplanes must not be safe. That's just, emotional reasoning. You're using your own judgment for it. Okay, so our second tip is to get support. So there's good evidence that social support plays an important role in mental health or even like substance use problems. So for example, people who are clinically depressed report lower levels of social support than people who are not currently depressed. Specifically, people coping with depression tend to report fewer supportive friends, less contact with friends, less satisfaction with their friends and relatives, lower marital satisfaction, and confine less in their partners. It is likely that lack of social support and feelings of loneliness can make us more vulnerable to the onset of mental health or substance use problems like depression. However, many of us will pull back from other people when we are experiencing mental health or substance use problems. In this way, mental health can lead to problems with social support and aggravate our feelings of loneliness. For these reasons, reconnecting with others in healthy, supportive ways is often an important component of managing most mental health or substance use problems. So our third one is physical health. So there's a lot of research that points to the negative impacts of poor physical health and on the mental health. There's a lot of evidence that shows that exercise can keep mental illness at bay for longer, and that eating healthy is good not only for the body but also for the mind. So with exercise, physical activity in any form is a great way to keep physically healthy as well as improving your mental well-being. So there's some research out there that shows that doing exercise influences the release and uptake of the feel-good chemical called endorphins in the brain. I know Jane talked a lot about hormones and chemicals earlier. So there are studies on it. Even a short burst of 10 minutes brisk walking increases our mental alertness, our energy, and a positive mood. Physical activity means any movement of your body that uses your muscles and expends energy. From small things like cutting the grass in your garden, or maybe even big things like running a marathon. All of that is physical exercises. And the second point about physical health is diet. So good nutrition is crucial factor in influencing the way we feel. A healthy, balanced diet is one that includes healthy amounts of protein, essential fats, complex carbohydrates, and essential vitamins and minerals, and of course water. We must stay hydrated. The food we eat can influence the development, the management, and prevention of numerous mental health conditions, including depression. And lastly, You have to sleep more. I know all of us want to hear this one because I love sleeping just as much as everyone else. You know, um, a lack of sleep doesn't just wreak havoc on your physical health, but it seriously messes with your mental health. Research shows that sleep deprivation can make it difficult for someone to regulate their emotions. Poor sleep is also a sign of more serious mental health problems. So try to go to bed just 10 minutes earlier every night, and you will do well. And as a result of these initiatives, we have seen a raised awareness around mental health. And as a result, our employees feel more comfortable coming to us at an earlier stage than before to ask for support. This means we are often able to offer flexible options to keep them at work or provide the time away they need without judgment. All of these initiatives have also helped to create a more caring company culture where colleagues care about one another and their mental well-being. The best way to introduce mental health in the workplace is through all aspects of health, like I mentioned earlier. So, getting to them, mental health is important for, physical exercise, with diet, including mental health as an important component, but those as well is really beneficial. So like we mentioned earlier, physical health plays an important role in maintaining good mental health, which is why it's important to also promote a healthy lifestyle that includes exercise, eating well, and getting sufficient amounts of sleep. The best way to get employees living well and participating in healthy behaviors is through micro activities. So here are some examples that I pulled that you can do right in your office. And it requires no external resources, which is the beauty of this. And also micro activities is that they're fast and convenient, and they become easier to click into your daily life. So, these small actions that you're doing at work, they become habits, and you can keep doing them outside of work. So you lead to a healthier lifestyle. The first one I have, the first activity that I want to look at is close your eyes. So like we were talking about earlier, meditating or like being mindful. So you set your feet on the floor and fold your arms in your lap, close your eyes and smile. Continue to smile for 1 minute. This will really help relax you, and honestly, it only takes a minute to bring you back. The second one, when more related to like the diet, is to avoid stimulants. So avoiding foods like alcohol, coffee, or tea and sugar 2 hours before bedtime will actually help you sleep better. And the third one is to have an in real life conversation. So this ties along with getting support. If you're take the time to talk to your colleagues, maybe build a social network with them. They can be someone you can lean on or be someone, others look to for help. So how can technology help you? So technology makes providing wellness programs easier. It provides automated tracking and reporting with traditional wellness programs. You don't have the ability to track your team's progress. But with technology, you now have the tools to establish key results and provide insights on their engagement and their overall progress. So your employees are making better habits for their better health. In addition, you now have the insights into which aspects of your wellness initiatives are working and which aren't. So you can make the appropriate push in terms of content or activities that you want to tell your employees to start working on. This way, your results will drive up your return on investments. All right, the second way technology really helps is it helps build a community through social networking. And like we talked about just a little earlier, social support is important. When you use a technology platform, you're making social networking easier for your employees. So, apps like Optimity, they allow you to participate in group activities and challenges. It provides you with the activities that interest you. So like maybe you like meditation, but someone likes, mindfulness. They're a little bit the same, or someone might like yoga. So we have something for everyone. And we all know that when activities are particularly interesting for you, you're more likely to participate. So there's a higher participation with technology-based wellness programs. So this also helps individuals achieve their health goals. Technology helps people who work remotely stay connected and participate in wellness activities without feeling left out. So it supports inclusion, which is great for overall health, especially one's mental health. With technology, it's easier to plan and promote external activities you might be having. So if you might have like a webinar or mental health fair or some kind of internal initiative, you can have these announcements go through from a technology base. So platforms allow you to communicate with everyone through announcements portals so that everyone gets the memo. So no one's missing out on important information or exciting activities. This also makes it easier for employees to not only have to look one place to find all their wellness information. Overall, technology will help build better wellness adaptation rates. Employees now have a tool that lets them focus on wellness matters that pertains to them and their interests. It's easier for the set their own health goals and progress at their own speed. So you're not rushing them or they don't feel rushed, which helps them progress faster. As a result, you see the metrics like engagement and participation go up, your employees maintain healthy habits even outside of work, and it means your employees are getting healthier faster. So technology is essential if you want to shape the wellness of employees while also supporting your employers. So your HR team is already resource strapped. So, adding a wellness program to your HR activities could mean more management, more admin work, and additional reporting if the program is manual and laborious. The good news is that a technology platform can take the pain out of managing a wellness program and leave you with the benefit that a wellness program provides. For instance, the admin portal, which is heavily used by the HR team, it automates tracking and reporting, which allows you to manage your program and send out announcements from a single platform. So Jane, would you like to share more insights and user stories?
Yeah, sounds good. And I know mental health is really hard to talk about, getting through all the stats. And we ourselves, I just want to kind of share a little bit more of a personal story here at Optimity. We have, like just as you do, you have employees, you have colleagues who are going through a hard time and sometimes are actually experiencing a serious health issue. And as part of those issues, I think attitude is a really important one of being acceptance, and it's often really hard to talk about things that's not going well because people like to win, people like to grow, and for ourselves too, when the company was growing last year, there's a lot of client deadlines, there's a lot of stress, so on our engineers, there were times where there are demands, and we had episodes where people that just had to take their own mental health days, and it became really apparent, even if, we're really promoting everything where we have great benefits, we have great culture here, but as part of that, we still have people who are suffering from their own issues, and a lot of times they're serious real health issues. So we had to battle all those things and to allow them to do that. And thank you so much, Tasneem, for, going through all the details here. And I know sometimes when we go through this, we're quite somber in our tone, and it may not be as exciting as talking about physical health and all these really fun employee engagement initiatives, but I do think it's really important that we spend the time to go through the importance of promotion. And when we track with technology, we talk about technology a little bit, people are just a lot more honest with it than they were when they're talking one-on-one to a person, because they're afraid of judgment. And guess what? Technology doesn't judge you, right? Like, people are way more honest on an online survey than they would be with an in-person counselor, even if you're in there to talk about your mental health. So what a lot of the key that we have here is to, one, care about each other on the social side, and then two, try to use ways where you can benefit from the innate, implied part of technology, and then three, to track the actual absenteeism or health cost or whatever it is, the metric that is on the business side, so that you can get the buy-in. All this is really around promotion and all the effort around helping to attract and retain the best talent, but also keeping them there and keeping your star players on the field longer. As part, we always talk about results, and I think part of that too is that you can see the difference in your benefits and in the bottom dollars in terms of claims. We've done multiple studies here now with multiple types of clients, and this could be anywhere from retail to government organizations to professional services. So it's everything from kind of high stress client management type of jobs to very technical jobs to things that's quite dispersed, and people are from all over the place and they don't know each other. They don't know each other from different stores. They don't know each other from different locations. So bringing them together in a social network really kind of helps people support each other, because in the end, mental health is it is a big agenda for what we're trying to push for this year. But I do find that every minute spent on it does pay back in terms of engagement. Right, people participate in it on their own time. They may not talk to you about it, but they're going to do it on their own time, and it's going to be great. You don't have to spend all the time administering all the in-person programs. We do take care of a lot of that for you, so saving you lots of hours, but getting that impact. And then the last part, of course, even if you track the addiction, I mean, we look at addiction for different types of opioids, different types of drugs. You can see that in the specific numbers when we do the analytics. So there is a back part of that. We know that there's a lot of wellness portals out there, health apps, wearables, classroom coaching. I love the principle of all of them, and when we looked at them too, we definitely learned from all these great people that have done lots of work in this. And what we've had insight ourselves is really kind of bringing that together under one centrally managed system, bringing in machine learning to help us make that non-judgmental decision, to customize to people's personalized needs, to be opportunistic about coaching. So looking at people's calendars and really finding the time for them to do a meditation, to take that time to be thoughtful, to go have an in real life conversation with a coworker. Doing it in the most non-destructive way to workplace productivity is very key. Connecting lots of apps and devices. There's great apps out there for mental health as well as physical health. So we connect to so many of them. Really important. And changing up initiatives. So we have challenges. We've added multiple challenges for mental health. Last year we only had one. Now there's multiple different flavors for mindfulness and taking the stress out of the daily day, helping build resilience. So definitely explore doing that as a challenge. We see that when we do it as a monthly challenge. Now looking at May's data, just as a quick review here, it's different. We're seeing a lot of different types of uptake rates when you're introducing kind of a community and competitive aspect to it. The last part is really talking about contextualizing to the person, using mobile. I do think mobile is still one of the best ways of reaching people. The micro activities are key to bringing it to them so that they're making healthier choices on a day-to-day, minute-by-minute basis. And then as an organization, you can track that from productivity. Because in the end, all these little things count and they really add up fast. So you can see people's attendance rates change. You can see how they feel towards each other change. And we track that empirically too, as I said, with the health risk assessments, but also through our surveys. So from the 0 days to 90 days, you can see a real change in people's ratings of how their outcomes are. So that's really important. So why don't we summarize a little bit about what we went over today and give them some of the key takeaways.
So let's summarize what we went through together. We talked about mental health, what it is, how it impacts our physical body, as maybe we didn't know before. It does impact not just our mental, but our physical body as well. We looked at why mental health is a workplace concern, since a lot of employees spend majority of their day in the workplace. It should be a concern for employers to take care of the employees' needs. What employers can do to promote a positive mental health environment, and how technology plays a role in preventing and promoting mental health in the workplace. We can help you maintain a work environment with more productive and less stressed employees, which benefits them and you. So if you're interested in learning more about creating a healthy workplace campaign and an engagement strategy, please reach out to us at engage@myoptimity.com or to me directly at tasneem@myoptimity.com. Thank you and have a great rest of the day.